Ciao, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm Raf, your host, and my guest today is Noah Kagan. Hi, Noah. How are you doing today?
Ciao, ciao. I don't know much Italian, but I love the Italians. I love when I'm in Spain, and I love when I see them on the streets and the way they talk and their personalities and the way they dress. It's great people.
So it means that you are in Spain, but there are a lot of Italians in the streets, I suppose. That's why
There's a
you're saying that.
lot.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Man, thanks for doing this. I loved your book. I told you before, and you also know that the Italian version just came out, and I'm the one on the back. So I really love to, talk a little bit about the book and the ideas inside the book, and let you share a few, insight and tips and tricks. I want to start with the title. It's a very powerful one. So $1 million weekend. What do you mean? It's kind of, a big one. So can you be a millionaire in a weekend? What does it mean?
Yeah, you can. You can. So let me be clear. You won't, someone will eventually, but you will not get $1 million in a weekend. But you will start the business that will eventually get you $1 million, and I guarantee that. Now, let's talk about some examples. Myself, I started appsumo.com in a weekend because I had an idea of a problem that I wanted solved. And I was like, okay, let me see how I can do this really quick and really cheap. And if people really want it. And there's other things in the book that explain how you can make sure you're validating a large business to make sure you're not wasting time. And that it's a $1 million, $1 billion opportunity. And you can start it and get it going in a weekend. There's another business that everyone's used called Facebook that was launched in a weekend. There's a lot of examples as you start unpacking things where people are doing things so quickly to validate that people want something. And validate means that people are actually excited to take their wallets out and give you money. And the reality, Raf, is that most people that listen to this conversation, whether they're in Italy, Germany, America, Spain, they're going to spend a lot of time and a
Yeah.
lot of money and a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos doing things that people don't want.
Yeah.
And that's the hope with the book. And what have seen results, I literally just got a message today that people read the book, they sent the emails, they did the actions in the book, and one person just said, "Hey, I made $6,000 this weekend," which is freaking insane. And that is the steps to eventually get to the millions and beyond.
Yeah, you just spoke about validation, and that was my favorite chapter of the book. I also said that in a video that I recorded, when the book was out. But I want to talk about that in a bit. So I want to start from this. I have a lot of notes inside the book, and I want to start with this one. There is this paragraph that is called "Always Be Asking." Tell us more about the power of asking and why you decide to write a whole paragraph in the book about that.
I wrote about it because that is the difference between people who get what they want and people who think about what they want. There's so much information out here on there's literally unlimited hours. There's literally a super brain called OpenAI that can tell you everything. Literally, everyone here is a genius now. And then the question is, well, if everyone can be a genius, how do I win? How do I win? And you win by getting customers. You win by getting employees. You win by getting people that are excited about what you're doing. And so, how do you actually get those people? Now, what most people do is they pray. They go to a church or a mosque or a synagogue, and they're like, well, I hope I'm going to magically you vibe code some product that people magically find. And look, that can work in fantasies and in for fantasy books. And in reality, if you want to make it easier and more effective, if you practice asking, you can find out things immediately whether people want things or not. And when you start realizing the power of asking, you start realizing it's actually everything. If you're married, right? Did you ask your wife on a date? Did you ask her to marry you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And when you want someone to buy something, if it's an ask, like, hey, do you like this? Do you want to be my customer? Do you want to give me $1? Do you want to give me $100? And the thing that's important for people, they see me and maybe they think like, oh, well, you're extroverted and you're this person that's always been talking, and that's probably true. But when you realize that asking is a skill that can be developed, and I talk about the coffee challenge as one way to develop a skill, like anything we're learning, like making a YouTube video, like you've done, like you were telling me you've done so many videos, and each time over years you get better and better. And the same thing happens with asking. And so I want people, even though there's so much out there and everyone's a genius, what are the fundamentals that are never going to change? And asking is the foundation of it. And what I encourage you is to do the coffee challenge, which people can read about in the book. But asking is even a simple thing that I still do to this day. I literally was at McDonald's and I asked for a free mustard. I was like, hey, I got a mustard, I got this, but can I get a mustard? And most people are just afraid. And what they realize is that the moment of not getting what you want is not that bad. And the upside is unlimited of the things that you can get if you just ask for it, whether it's a wife, whether it's a customer, whether it's a raise, whether it's a job, whatever it is in life. And that's why asking and as well as starting are the fundamentals of success in business.
And I love it because this is so powerful, but at the same time is also very easy to kind of exercise every single day. With the coffee challenge, for example, you can try, and you know that it's going to be awkward, but it's going to be helpful in the long run. So yeah, that's why I love it. Related to that, there is also this part in the book where you talk about where do you find customers, and you say that it's really important to have access, to the people you wanna help.
Mm.
Why that is important, and why you think this is a big mistake that usually people make when they are building a business.
Conceptually, what I'm trying to have people realize, because let me just start at the end. After many years, so let me just work on to share my story, um, and then maybe it'll help with this, right? So grew up in Silicon Valley, middle class, normal. Tried so many things over many years, and eventually AppSumo worked. AppSumo.com, people check it out. And then over a 15-year period, I'm finally pretty rich. Like not as a bragging thing, but like I've done pretty well, and I can't believe it. I can't even believe it. I'm like, this is cool. I didn't know it was going to happen. I thought it would eventually would, but it's like I started it and I asked and I kept going. Now, the reality is that we all have some skills and we all have some networks that we are special for, right? Like you're in Italy. I will never be able to beat you in Italy. Now, why is it though when people are starting businesses, they're like, I'm going to go do Italy stuff? Like I have a friend who I love and he's like, I'm going to try to do real estate in America, but he lives in Europe. And I'm like, you think you're going to beat people who are living in America and been doing it there for so many years? Probably not. And so what I want people to think about, and the point of that is, who do you already have access to make it easier for you to succeed, as well as what skills have you been practicing or are you curious about that you can take advantage of? And the whole point of it is, how do you make it easier to have success? And the reality, though, the question is, well, why would anyone make it hard? They make it hard so when they fail or it doesn't work, there's no one to blame. It's like, well, I tried, but. But if you actually do the skills you have and the network or access to people you have, there's a chance someone's going to say no, but there's also a chance someone will actually be excited about what you're doing.
What do you say to people that argue and they say, "Oh, but I don't have a network. I don't know anyone. I don't know. I just started. I don't know what's the first step to do to have access to those people."
Yeah, the book starts with frequently made excuses, as you know. How do
Yeah,
you
and
say
I
that in
love
Italian? How do you say that in Italian?
that. Scuse frequenti.
Scusa frequente. God, it sounds so good. I think Portuguese used to be my favorite language, but it might be Italian. It might be Italian. Scusa frequente. And people. I have a friend. I won't call him out, but he's been wanting to start a business, and he keeps consuming, and he doesn't have a network, and he doesn't have this, and he doesn't have that. But what I've realized a lot of times in life is that when you have limitations or you don't have all access to things, that's when you're going to get creative. And when people say they don't have a network, that's just not true. There's no one who's absolutely alone. No one's like unless you're literally in a cave. I don't know. Like I don't think anyone's entirely alone. And so let's try this. Someone's like, hey, I'm in high school. I'm in college. I don't have anyone who has money. Okay. Do you have a parent? Yes. My parents are poor. Okay. Let's exclude that. Do you go to a doctor? Yeah. Okay. Your doctor has money. Do you go to anywhere else? Do you go to a dentist? Do you have anyone in your family? And so when you say you don't have a network, I think people use that as a way to avoid actually getting started. And so for me, I'm listening to Kiss. Do you know the band Kiss?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
Anyway, it's, old school 80s band. I'm listening to their biographies for some reason. I don't even care for the music, but I just find it fascinating. The guy just called people and was like, "Hey, I want to be in movies. You're the guy. I saw your name on one of the movie lists. I just called him." And he just asked if he could be in movies. This is before I think they were pretty famous, but I think the point of it is like, don't let the limitations be an excuse.
Mm.
If you don't necessarily need a network to build a big ass business. Does it help? Yeah. Will you get it over time? Yeah. But instead of using that, like, okay, I need 2 years to get an MBA, or I need 2 years to go meet a bunch of friends, like, go find one person. Like, I think one of the easiest hacks anyone can do is go work for a rich person.
Mm.
Like, I've had a decent amount of people, mostly young people, younger. We're both young, but younger people in their 20s. I'm in my early 40s, that just hit me up with really good messages and were like, "Hey, I just want to do whatever I can to be around you." And from that, they've all gone on to like create some pretty good businesses, or get even better jobs. And I think that's just, if you don't have anyone, just go find someone who has them and do whatever you can to kiss their ass and help them get accomplish their goals. And they'll probably connect you with other people. If not, you can help them and connect with them.
Mm. Yeah. I said before that my favorite chapter in the book is chapter 5, is the one about validation. And I tell you why. I've read a lot of books, startup books, let's say startup books.
Me too.
And there is a lot of going on about validation, and techniques and strategy to validate. But your chapter is very straightforward and also very true. You say something that is like, you have to ask for money. That's it. That's the only form of validation that makes sense. So asking for money is the best form of validation. Why is that?
Let me just tell you another story. I'm in Spanish classes today, and there's these girls. They're probably 20 years old, maybe 19. And I can't believe it, but they're on their freaking phone and they're talking the whole class. The whole class. I'm like, yo, I'm here to learn Spanish. Shut up. Cállate, por favor. And they're just turning to, and I'm thinking, why don't they care? Why are they not paying attention like I am? You know why? Because I paid for the class,
Okay.
and their daddies or mommies paid for their class. Sorry, I didn't mean that you were going to say you don't know. But yeah, because I paid for it. You know what that means? It means I'm taking it seriously, because it was money that I'm not buying diapers for my daughter. And I had to earn that money to be able to afford the class, and they didn't. And so to them, it's just a whatever. And the same goes with validation with your customers. It's very easy to say, yeah, your product looks good. Or, there's a lot of excuses people can make. Like, oh, yeah, come back when it's more done. Yeah. Like, but when you finally solve a problem that people are excited about, they will pay you, and you'll be surprised. Now, it's easy to say, like, to build things and say you need to build things, but you can also get pre-orders, which is something I've talked about in the book, which Elon Musk has literally Model 3, Cybertruck, the Tesla Roadster. Like, he's done it pretty well doing pre-orders. And there's a lot of other examples I give in the book, but the point being here is you can spend 6 months, 12 months, and this is what most people need to do. They need to go do it their way, see it doesn't work. Like, hey, I need to build up an audience on YouTube and hopefully it'll work. Okay, try that. Hey, I need to work on the product to finally show them something. Okay, try it. And then after that point, they're like, hey, it didn't work. And the reality in business is that it's important, and I start the book with this, is that you have to ask, but you have to start. And the reason is because people may not want what problem you're solving.
Yeah.
And so then you have to keep finding and going and going and going and going and going. I literally went from 20 to 30 to finally find, at starting my own businesses, a problem that could be a pretty substantial business. That took me 10 years. I do think that I've learned a lot, and I've condensed it in the book so that people can do that in a weekend, if not, I think weekend's pretty quick. So they can do that validation to understand if there's demand. And guess what? If there's not, you can learn and move on.
So the two things are kind of related. So the power of asking and the also uh, validation with money. Because if you have developed the skill of asking people and you're not afraid anymore of that, you're not embarrassed by awkward moment, you know that you can ask for money even if you have just only I don't know, a prototype and not the final product, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give people an out, which is if you're afraid, and that's okay. The fear never really goes away. Like when I do the coffee challenge, I'm uncomfortable. It's not like it's like it gets easier. But what I recommend for people that are like, I still don't want to ask for money, that's okay. Do it for free. Just do it for free. And then if you can get enough success, then you could start asking. Or do it for free. And if you get too busy, then start asking. And that's a way that it's a little bit softer. If that, I think for some people that might work a little bit better.
And there is another thing that I found that was very simple and yet powerful in the book, and is the law of 100. You say that sometimes people give up too early, and you say that the best way to try something is to do it at least 100 times before giving up. What do you mean by that? Why this is so important?
Yeah. I was in a relationship once, and it wasn't working out. And I said, I'm going to commit to this relationship for 6 months, and I'm going to be the best boyfriend ever. Ever. You're never going to see a better boyfriend than me. And I'm going to do it for 6 months, and then I'm going to make a decision whether I should be with this woman. And at 6 months, we broke up. And the law of 100 is the same thing for business. It said, look, you may want to quit something. You do want your business. You do have a dream. You have some goal you want to accomplish. Do it at least 100 times, so at least you have an informed decision before you quit. Because everyone has a story, everyone, that, I shouldn't have stopped that. And if I only would have kept going, what would have happened? And it doesn't have to be big things. It could be 100 videos. It could be 100 sales calls. If you're trying to do real estate, it could be 100 offers. It could be 100 blog posts, 100, I don't know, OpenAI prompts, whatever it is. And at that point, you have enough data to make an informed decision whether you want to continue or not. But sometimes when you go to the gym for the first time, it doesn't feel good. But as you go more and more, like I came to Barcelona, I was really fat because I was drinking a lot in Tokyo and just eating so much sushi and good food. It was amazing. And I committed, and 2 weeks in, like, okay, good. Now my fitness is back to where it's been. And so you need a time frame and parameters to be effective in making better decisions about whether you should continue or not. Because so many people are not happy with their lives professionally, and they can be, but they have to stick with something to get to that point. And the law of 100 helps you do it 100 times to then make that informed decision.
And but I suppose there is also the other side of the thing. So how do you understand when it's time to give up? So let's say that you have been trying a lot of video on YouTube, a lot of, I don't know, ideas or whatever.
Totally.
Then there is a moment when you should actually stop because you need your energy and money and time
Yeah.
on another project, right?
Yeah. I don't think it's absolute in that sense. Um, what I do encourage people, the book is called $1 Million Weekend. And the idea is that if you're starting something, try to find out in a weekend whether it's going to be a business or not. Because there's no point in doing something 100 times that no one wants. This thing is more related to when something is working, or there's something potential there. Like, hey, I've been doing a video. It seems like it worked. I'm going to do 100 of them. Now, what I would encourage people to think about is try to find businesses and specifically problems. All businesses is just a problem that you solve that no one else has, or in a way that no one else has. That's it. And find a problem that you won't quit on. I think that's the better thing for people to be thinking about. Like, hey, I just, and look, you can quit at some point. The law of 100 helps you think like, okay, I'll quit it maybe after 100 or beyond. But I just want to keep doing this for a long time. I'm really enjoying it. And these are guiding principles that I have found effective where like, hey, you spent a weekend, which everyone has 52 of them, whether you have a full-time job or a family, but you have 52 times to go try to do something. And as you find something that you're enjoying and that people actually seem excited about and potentially they paid you, ideally, then now you can continue it and practice it 100 times. So
Mm.
100 videos, 100 sales, 100 asks, whatever that is. So I wouldn't say it's an absolute thing, but I'd say you can use these in ways to get to
Yeah.
the level of success that people are. I think most people are dreaming of. And the reality, Raf, is that I don't know if people all realize that they can get there.
Mm.
I think that's part of it. Is that uh, I've met so many impressive people not getting what they want, way smarter than me, way way more ability than me, but they're
Why
more
is
afraid.
happening? Why is happening?
Yeah, they're more afraid than me. They're more
Okay.
comfortable than me.
Okay.
And there's other reasons,
I like it.
but there's a lot of people that we know. I've met so many people. I'm like, wow, you are way smarter than I am. And you don't seem like you're actually doing the thing you really want to do, but you're a little afraid. And so that's why in the book, I try to put it in a safe environment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're not feeling like this big, I got to take some crazy entrepreneur risk. That's never been my approach. I'm like a very unrisky entrepreneur. I don't take a lot of big swings with big money yet. I test a lot of things. There's, stuff as the business has grown, like AppSumo, to give, it's a high 8-figure business. And that's through a lot of like small tests. And that's what I'm encouraging a lot of the audience. Like you can do something a weekend that can get to that size, if not beyond.
Mm. Do you think that the ideas and strategies and tactics in these books are both for solopreneurs and for teams? I mean, if there is someone reading the book and they don't have a team, they're just by themselves. Uh, are the ideas inside the book and the things that we are talking about today also useful for people working alone?
I think the book was written based on my story and my experiences. And I found it's best to start alone and then it's best to build a team to grow. To start alone, I think it's just so easy to make excuses and then be like, I don't like my person. I didn't like this thing, this. But as you want to run a business, like right now, I don't run AppSumo. There's a guy named Sean who is the president. And I spend my day, talking to you. I have a Spanish class. I take care of my daughter and I go for a bike ride and I hang out with my wife. And that's through a team. And so I would recommend it more for individuals. Again, I think for people listening to this, and um, the book has been really well received, and it's been awesome to see that. And what I wanted, to me, it's not to sell more books. Like I haven't really actively super promoted it after it came out, but I want to see people start something today. The people who are tired of their jobs, not sure what's going to happen with this AI thing, and they want to get on the other side where they control their time, they control their schedule, they control how they want to, they want to go on vacation. They want to work from a different country. They can do those things. They don't need to ask them for permission. The only permission they need to ask is their customers.
You just mentioned AI. How do you think AI is going to impact this approach? The whole, ideas and process that you describe in your book.
Mhm.
Now we have very powerful tools. You mentioned ChatGPT, for example.
Mm.
So what's going to change? I mean, is it good or bad that we have AI and
I
we
think
want to start a
AI,
business?
yeah, that I know. AI is going to be good for the winners.
Mm.
AI is going to be good for the doers. So if you think about it, now with AI, you can literally have unlimited business ideas, which has
Mm.
always been the easy. It's been kind of the easy part. So the people who are willing to do the work and do the starting and do the asking and follow the steps I lay out are going to have the success. And I think AI, unfortunately, is going to get a lot of people fired. A lot. A tremendous. I don't think people realize how big of many. AI is not like the iPhone, which is opening jobs, or the internet, which open jobs. AI is reducing jobs permanently. And I don't see those jobs moving to really other places. So the question is then, what stuff does not get replaced, or how do I be on the winning side? And the winning side is, well, what are all these people that are running the AI companies need? They need housing, they need food, probably clothing, experiences. Those things aren't going away. And then on the AI side, either you need to join the companies they're clearly winning
Mm.
in this, or figure a way to be even a YouTuber talking about those things. Uh, I do think AI is going to take a lot of people out, not just companies, but just jobs. And so, how are you taking action? So I think more than ever, the book focuses on fundamentals, which is: are you starting? Are you asking, and are you solving a problem that people want to pay you money for? And in this civilization, on this planet that we're floating in, is still very important. Whether you're paying for an office, whether you're paying for Spanish classes, whether you're paying, I'm trying to rent a boat for my wife's birthday. So there's still ways to win, and the winners are going to win bigger, and the losers are going to lose more. And that's it's scary depending on what team you're on.
In your experience, what are the most common mistakes that people make that they want to start a company or a project or build an idea?
I think I know, I've literally, I've had tens of thousands of people. I had a course. I've had, 200, I think 200,000 people have bought the book. Um, the simplest thing that people can do today, and I'll just give them a tactic, is that look at the amount of time you're consuming content versus working on your business.
I
That's
agree.
it.
Yeah.
Just that's it. That's it. Look at, like, if you want to be a YouTuber like Raf, you have a full-time, money making, good looking Italian guy like doing this stuff. And it's not bad to consume content. Like, I probably spend way more time consuming content these days than I'm not trying to make more money or make more business personally. I have enough. Which is also a European versus American thing, which is very interesting. But I think for anyone who's not happy where they're at, which I think a lot of people aren't, I think a lot of people have either given up, don't realize they can do it, or just think, yeah, it's not going to be me, and it can be them. Just look at how much time you're consuming Instagram or TikTok or ChatGPT and all these things, and then look at how much actual time you're sending out offers, actual time you're asking people to be your customer, actual time working on wood projects or whatever projects that actually someone would buy. And if you can just allocate 15 minutes a day, like 15 minutes of Netflix a day towards an actual business instead of consumption, I think people will be shocked at how that compounds. Because I will say, the best investment you can ever do, people are like, what stock should I do? The best investment is business. Starting a business is the best investment ever. Like, you put money in any stock, like, okay, 10% a year, 100% in 5 years, you can do that with very low capital now with insane upside. And so that enables what kind of dream life people want. So again, the whole point of your question was, what should they be aware of? It's see how much you're consuming versus you're producing. That's it. And if you can spend more time in production land, you will get to a successful business.
And I totally agree on that. And I see the same thing with friends or colleagues that they want to be content creator and they just don't start. They watch a lot of YouTube videos, but they never record the video. So yeah, let's just start, guys. So
Yeah, I mean, now I was even thinking about it this morning. Like, vibe coding is this whole trend, which is great. It's making it easier to make things, but it doesn't solve the problem. How do you find the people to use the thing? AppSumo is a way you find people to use your thing. Twitter magically can. You could go pray to Elon that he hooks you up, but it's still the same fundamentals of it's not make something and find customers. It's find customers as well to make something that they actually want.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think too many times they're making things. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can find anybody. And that's very tough. So I like to work backwards from, like, who do I know? What I have access to? And look, if you're interested in these things, it can work other ways. There are many ways. Uh, to Italy. Let's pick, like, Bologna or something, or Napoli. There's many ways to get to Napoli. You could fly, you could drive, you could walk, you could bike, you could take a drone. I don't know, a lot of ways. I'm just sharing my way that works the most fastest and cheapest, because I've spent a lot of years on things that didn't. And we don't have too much time on the planet. So I'd imagine most people want to get it done, as effectively as possible. And that's the way I like my approach.
Noah, we usually end the conversations here on the podcast asking every guest to share a great book that they have read recently and a great tool that they have used recently. What do you want to share with us? Of course, your book is going to be linked in the description below, but have you read something very cool lately?
Um, yeah, I mean, I track every single one of my books in Goodreads.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, every single book I read. What's funny though? After my book came out, I will tell you, I stopped rating books
Okay.
because I was so pissed off. People rating like 3 stars. I'm like, I put my life into this book, and you're rating 3 stars, you jerk. So I don't try to take that. I try to be mindful of anyone who's creating. I try to have a lot of respect. I'll tell you the books I'm reading today. I'm really enjoying
Yeah.
These rock and roll books. So I'm reading the biographies of Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley, and Sammy Hagar, and I really enjoyed them. I just did the audiobooks from the library for free. I don't know if that's like in all countries. You can get them on Audible. And I think what I'm looking for is alternative industries with longevity.
Hmm.
That's also interesting. You know, they're like doing drugs and a bunch of women and guys, just crazy shit. But I'm looking for and I'm interested in like these other verticals outside of tech because I'm tired of self-help or tech bros and books where they created something or how did they create something and how have they stuck around?
Hmm.
Because so many things go away so quickly. So that's the book. Um,
What it's called again?
the three books I've read was Sammy Hagar read, Paul Stanley Face the Music, it might be called, or something about face. And then I'm finishing Gene Simmons' book, which is Kiss and Make Up.
Okay.
And then I think my next book is going to be the Blink 182 guy's book,
Nice.
Mark Hoppus. And
Nice.
then the tool,
Yeah.
dude, it's so funny because everything in my life is like, not everything, but a lot of things in my life are like baby related. So probably the Nanit. It's like a baby tracking app that I use to check my baby sleeping. Um, that was probably, there's a lot of cool tools on AppSumo for business building. I'm not
Yeah.
in a business building uh, phase right now of my
Yeah.
personal life, but Nanit is probably the app. Let me see on. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. 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 Go for it. And guys,
Oh,
of
I
course,
would say
all
that
the
or like
links.
yeah, I would say that or honestly, I would say I am using BreezeDoc. It's one of the tools on AppSumo.
Breezedoc. Yeah.
BREEZEDOC.com and TidyCal, which is products we built because we wanted them. BreezeDoc is basically DocuSign without a subscription. And then TidyCal is Calendly without a subscription. I use those. Those are still ones I use. And we're
I
working on
love
other.
Tadical. I'm a huge fan. So, and all the
If you
links
have
are going to be in the description below. Yeah.
awesome. Do you have any feedback about how we can make it better for you?
Tadical?
Yeah.
No, not at the moment. No, I love it. I use it every day. So yeah, me, my team, yeah, we love it.
All right. Well, if you
We
have
love
any
it.
feedback, you let me know and we'll get it
Yeah, I will.
fixed.
I will. Noah, thank you very much for your time. That was great. Thank
It
you.
was really good. Yeah, it's fun. It's the first interview I've done in like a year. So I appreciate you having me. Check out, appsumo.com.
See ya.
All right.